Welcome to the Powerful Comicsman podcast. This is Jerald Dorado, and we are continuing the 40 Life Wisdom at 40 series here on the podcast. We are now at number 24. But before we continue, let me just tell you about Miyucha Lux Cakes. That is our little online pastry desserts shop. Uh, it's all the vegan goodness, the best vegan desserts that you can find here in the Philippines. Check us out at hello.miucha on Instagram and Facebook. That's at HELLO.MIUCCIA. Check us out now. You're gonna be blown away. All right. So, by the way, we also have a website for this podcast. Check us out. Check out the series if you want to follow the series. We're at comicsman.com/40 life wisdom at 40 if you want to follow the podcast. um all of the episodes are there. Okay, so now let's get on with life wisdom number 24. This is actually another practical advice, but also that also has a lot of wisdom in it because it's very useful. Learn how to fully articulate your thoughts. Yeah, being humans, being Homo sapiens, one of the things that set us out really apart from the rest of the animal species on Earth is our ability to use words, language. Well, there's dolphin language and probably other languages out there, whale language, but I suppose I don't know. Maybe they're just as complicated, but um, definitely we have that special adaptation, that special tool in our arsenal that is unfortunately not not being utilized to the fullest by most people. Um, it's not enough that you can talk, you can you can create sounds with your mouth and produce words. It's the ability. Language comes with the thought. Um, Language comes with the intent, the complexity of emotions that's involved in the thoughts that you want to convey. It allows you not just communicate, but also explain. Well, that's communicating too. But it allows you to explain, it allows you to teach, it allows you to defend yourself. Like like in the last episode, learn how to defend yourself. For most of the time, actually, things do not need to get physical confrontations. Just using words could could do the trick. Saying the right words, saying exactly what you want to say. That is very that's a very important ability if you can do that. Me, I wasn't trained to talk actually when I was way younger. I only started talking and practicing to really articulate what what I really feel. Maybe I was already in my early 30s around that time. when I turned 30 around that time. Before I've been vocal relatively, even in my younger years, especially after high school. During college, I'm able to express myself to my friends and other people generally. Um, I'm able to I was able to transmit my thoughts through words, but sometimes I would feel like it's kind of lacking. I wasn't able to express my my thoughts thoroughly. Just maybe 50%, probably lower. It wasn't enough that I was able. I To me, it wasn't enough that I'm just able to say it, but it's important to say it properly, so that, because people are already uh people are already impatient to listen, and sometimes you just get to say things once. You only have one shot to say it properly. If you screw up, then if you screw up, you might leave yourself open for other other explanations of about what you said. Even if even if you're careful, sometimes it's easy to twist words, if you, to fit whatever you want that person to say, or create a caricature of what his thoughts are. So the more precise that you can say things, then the lesser chance that your what you said could be misconstrued, and that is quite hard to figure it out, to actually learn and be efficient, and have confidence to talk with confidence. It's um if I'm gonna tell my story, uh I'm actually not I'm actually I was before I started podcasting, I didn't have I didn't have training in talking in a microphone before. I used to sing, so I'm used to using microphone, but I used to sing um, live on stage. So, and also, it's not articulating my thoughts. Um, it's not personalized because you're singing songs. It's well, what I'm saying is it's different from just talking, the way I do in a podcast. And when I started, even until now, uh, well, podcasting greatly improved my ability to not just talk but also articulate my exactly what I would want to say. Before, when I listen to my old recordings, it it gets really painful at times because I can't. I'm talking about something that I think is a good topic, and I'm not able to touch everything that I wanted to talk about that certain topic. Um, I would forget some points. I would totally sometimes um use uh, a word that is not really what I intended to use, and the grammar lapses. Even until now, I just listened to one of the recordings of in this series, one of the episodes, and oh my god, my grammar lapses are still there. I always mix up my prepositions, and sometimes completely botch the grammar. Uh, but oh, well, I suppose I can still do something like that, something for about that, but I'm gonna leave it for now. But definitely the training, my my desire to still improve, um should still be there, even though I already get comments like I have improved so much, and I'm actually able to articulate things a lot better than most people, um my friends know. But if I'm gonna compare myself to my podcast idols, I am still way too far. No, I can't even start mentioning their names to compare myself. But I could get there, as you could. But the thing is, you maybe you do not want to be a podcaster, right? So not everybody is interested to become a podcaster. And talking is not only used for professional talkers. It's about relationships. It's about conveying your emotions, your thoughts, what you want to say. It's about communication. And if you cannot express your thoughts, your your precise feelings, if you cannot find the words, if you get lost for words all the time, and you cannot depend on just body language, or and the one common mistake by people is to assume that people should know how you feel. Diba? That they don't need words. They just need to realize and one way or another read your mind and know exactly why you're upset, and why things are not going well, and if he said something or did something, you should exactly know what her intentions, or his or her intentions are, and that could create problems. And those are the relationship aspects. Of course, this is also applicable to in the professional setting. If you want to, you can get plus points easily if you're able to communicate, if you can talk to clients, if you can negotiate. So those are helpful things, or useful skills that can help your career. Being able to negotiate would require the right choice of words. It would require the right reasoning, and sometimes, or rather, it requires complex reasoning, and to articulate complex thoughts, you would need a certain degree of mastery of words and language. And and you should you should take the initiative to learn it, because it doesn't come from it doesn't come you're not born with it, basically. Even if you're born in an speaking uh English speaking family, you've been speaking English all your life, or whatever language that you use, talking is different from articulating thoughts. Magkaiba yun. Uh, and also, just because you can speak English, that doesn't mean you're a good talker. Diba? Not all Americans or British are good talkers. I know several people. I know, actually, most people I know, they can talk well in English, but if you're gonna leave them and do something like, let's say, podcast, something like what I'm doing right now, they wouldn't know how to start. But of course, it is a learnable skill, right? And also, it doesn't have to be English. Pwedeng magtagalog ka kung saan ka komportable, and whatever language you think would be best suited to convey the message you want to tell, then use it. Me, I personally, uh, I've been a Tagalog speaker for the most of my life. Uh, I was raised in Laguna, so Tagalog talaga ako with the southern Luzon accent, similar to the Batanggenyo accent, ganun. Um, but over time, siguro because of influence in media and movies and YouTube, I kind of evolved into, I mean, that's why most of this podcast is spoken in English. Parang I find it more, I find it easier to use English to talk about more complicated stuff, which is, I kind of I kind of I'm kind of in the middle. I can't decide if it's good or bad. I just try to use English that is not too complicated. Uh, I try to avoid big words too much. Um, no, no, no. I try to avoid using too much big words, rather. You see, diba? That's a difference. If I just jumble the words, then it comes out different already. So it's I want my rule is to talk in a manner na may intindihan ka ng intended audience mo, 'di ba? So sometimes you would need to adjust, to a level that is understandable by the receiver of your message. And since for this podcast, I try to use more familiar words. Um, Maybe in an episode, I could use a couple of highfalutin words sometimes, but I try to minimize it, because sometimes, like I said, you need to be precise. If if there is a if there is a word that would describe what you wanted to say exactly, then you would have to use that. And it's it also applies to writing, 'di ba? Especially now in the age of social media, you can write your thoughts through a Facebook post or whatever social media you use, and it can be read. But there is no substitute to actual voice. Being able to precisely communicate what you want to say as precise as possible, because sometimes there are um there are emotions that are really complicated and that you just get lost for words. It happens to me all the time, but with more practice, you can make yourself better. So how would I what would be my tips for everyone who wants to improve their speaking skills? So one, I would yung pinaka obvious is to read read books, familiarize yourself with watch videos and familiarize yourself in in the cadence and in the enunciation, kasi those are important eh. It doesn't have to be, well, it's let's put it this way. You can pick an idol, maybe a benchmark. Pick somebody that you are really impressed with how they articulate things. To me, my the be- the best speaker. I have three people who are my who I consider to be at the pinnacle of of speaking skills, public speaking skills, or not. Three people. One is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an astrophysicist. And another one is Sam Harris. Sam Harris is a neurologist and podcaster also. And another one is Chael Sonnen. He's an MMA fighter or former MMA fighter. And well, they are all highly highly proficient talkers. You can check them out if you want, and they talk about different things. Neil deGrasse Tyson is probably the most popular. He talks about astrophysics, science stuff, complicated science stuff, and those are hard hard topics, but he can explain things to you in in layman's terms. Diba? He's gonna make you understand complicated theories about space and time and anything astrophysics, quantum physics, but he's gonna say it in a way that even a child can understand. Diba? If I were, let's say, nung 9 years old ako and I listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson right now, I would be able to understand exactly what he means. That, kasi he has that, and that's not on me. It's on Neil deGrasse Tyson because he can explain. He has this amazing skill of communicating complex thoughts. The same way with Sam Harris. they use different techniques. um I think Sam Harris topics are even more complicated because he talks about thoughts, human thoughts, neurology, psychology, and he talks about religion. He talks about spirituality. He talks about um, philosophies, and he can also express those profound ideas in a manner that you can digest, and that um, would take you minimal effort to understand, because no ma- I don't know how smart you are, but me, I'm not the smartest person. Sometimes I would struggle on on just by trying to comprehend a book. I'm actually not a book reader, so I am very thankful for podcasts and audiobooks and YouTube videos, because well, I fall asleep after 10 pages. I can't sustain reading a book. But so I get my information elsewhere. Uh but sometimes one reason is because sometimes the writer, it will also depend on the writer. Sometimes the writer would use way too too many complicated words, and it just get lost on me, and um I either I lose interest, or it's just it just gets too hard to comprehend because I'm not used to using those words, diba? So that's one. And the other one is Chael Sonnen, one of my favorite people in the world. Uh, he he is probably the best storyteller anywhere on YouTube. He's an MMA fighter. He or used to be. He's let's say he's an MMA personality right now. So he talks about MMA news, and then he would have a hot take on his podcast, and he would do predictions and all of those MMA content, and he just does everything without a script. And if you transcribe what he the entire clip, the entire video, if you transcribe it, because he just sits on his chair. Oh, he just sits on his chair facing the camera with a wall behind him, and just go on monologuing for, let's say, 10 to 20 minutes at a time. And if you transcribe the things that he said, it's almost like somebody wrote it. A professional writer um, wrote it, and he was reading what was written. It looks like it would seem like it was read from a teleprompter. I don't know if that's the case, but I don't think so. I think he just freestyles his podcast. That's just how proficient he is. And sometimes he would uh, tell random stories, that really random things that happened to him, like like let's say driving around town, and then seeing a police car waving him off, something like that. And uh, if I tell you that kind of story, it's not it's so you're gonna go like, so what, diba? But with him, it's just captivating, and the next thing you know, you have watched a video about somebody you don't even know personally, talking about his day driving. So he just has the ability to captivate you. So those are the qualities of a speaker that I wish I could become. But for everyone else, Jordan Peterson actually said this, in his book 12 Rules for Life. One of the rules there is, be precise with your words, or something like that. And the more that I podcast, and the more that I realized, the the older I got, comparing how I am able to communicate much better than how I was when I was younger. This new skill that I acquired, relatively new, uh, being able to talk this good. This is one skill that I would definitely want to, if I can travel back in time, or just email this skill to my 20-year-old self. It's definitely one thing that I wish I had back then. And the thing is, again, this is a life tip that you can start on working as early as possible. Right now, actually, make it a goal for you to articulate. Make it a goal for you to learn how to be better in speech, because I cannot stress how useful it is. There are people who make things happen just by being able to talk themselves into opportunities. And it's not cheating. Don't make the excuse that it's cheating, that it's somehow a bad thing, because it's not. um it is a learnable skill. If you have speech problems, don't worry. You can still succeed, because what's important is that the idea that you can convey. It's not how you say it, it's how you convey the idea. But communication, you're not practicing how to talk. You're practicing how to communicate. Articulating is different from just plain speaking. So if you can master it, that's another powerful tool for you that you can utilize. And yeah, even if you can speak well right now, I'm sure you can always uh, learn new things. Yeah, it's precision. It's precision. It's not just ability to talk with correct grammar and nice accent, or being able to enunciate words, pronunciations. It's being able to precisely, again, convey the idea. Okay, so get your ass on it. Uh, and maybe you can start a podcast as well, if you succeed, and which I'm sure you can be able to do that. Uh, you can do anything if you choose to, and I don't know. Good luck with all of the opportunities that you can get, that can come your way, because you you're gonna heed this advice, and more importantly, the relationships that you'd be able to build or heal or help. I think I've exhausted everything that I want to say about this topic and more. So let's end this now. Learn how to fully articulate your thoughts. Powerful Comics Man Podcast.